Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Now, at the moment I'm currently a year and 3 months sober from drinking. The last drink I had was on the 18th and the 19th of May 2024, and it's currently July the 31st, 2025. So I've done a pretty decent job, right? And in the early days, what kind of helped me was going on various subreddits for helping people to quit drinking. I'm not really someone that was interested in like Alcoholics Anonymous or like the 12-step program or anything like that. Particularly this 12-step program, because it's all about God and, you know, oh, you need a higher power and all this sort of stuff. And I'm not really about that. I feel like it's my thing, it's my journey, and not like my sobriety is being gifted to me from a higher power. That's kind of how I felt about it. So I didn't really want to engage in that kind of thing. But I did want to talk to other people that were like-minded, that were going through the same sort of struggle that I was going through, right? Because it's nice to feel seen. It's nice to know that there's other people out there that are just like you, right? So I went on these various subreddits and forums under, you know, a fake name, and I would talk about my story and that kind of thing, and I would respond to other people who were talking about their stories. And, you know, we would give each other support and that kind of thing. And there was one subreddit that I used quite a lot, which was r/stopdrinking, right? And it was a really good subreddit. They had this little slogan, which was like, I will not drink with you today, right? And I remember that, and it was just like, it's about taking it one day at a time. When you quit drinking, it's not about like, I will never, ever, 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 ever drink again. I still don't think of it like that. I think I might one day drink again. I wouldn't ever say it like ever, ever again, because to me, forever is a really long time. And I think that adds expectation and pressure, which then makes it easy to curtail under pressure, because things burst under pressure. Things thrive when they're allowed to develop and sprout, right? A tree isn't gonna grow if you put it under 8,000 meters of fucking soil, right? So I went on these subreddits, and it felt really good to know that I wasn't alone in this kind of thing, right? And I really enjoyed them as well. I made a few friends on them, and we would have nice little talks and DM each other a little bit. You know, not anything like that lasted forever. I'm not saying that like these were the most, you know, amazing friends I ever had, but they were nice connections to have with people. You know, it felt nice to go through something with someone else. Because every time I tried to quit beforehand and failed, I felt so alone, because it was like the world was against me, and I'd go to the pub and it would kind of be like everyone's like probably assuming that I'm boring or that kind of thing, and I just felt like it was just me against everything. And having these forums made it feel like it was me and a load of other people, that they're anonymous, so it could be any number of people out in the world, right? And it's us versus the world, not just me. Even though, like, obviously I know that there's other people that struggle with alcoholism and they're trying to quit as well, it just felt good to actually see them, and for me to feel seen as well. And the reason I'm talking about all this is about a week or so ago, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the fucking country, right? He passed this law, which is like the online safety bill, and it's meant to protect children from pornography. That's the whole point of it, because you go on adult sites and now you have to provide age verification in the form of ID or a facial scan, right? But these pornography websites aren't the only thing that got hit with this online safety bill. Other things got hit as well. For instance, random adult things of all sort of nature, you know, gambling, for instance, that got taken down. That got hit behind this age verification thing. And I don't like gambling websites, so I didn't really care. And then, you know, political kind of activist groups, like Free Palestine sort of groups and all that kind of stuff, they got taken down. And I'm like, that's not great. That's essentially like, that's just doxing everyone that has political dissent, essentially, because now anyone that's Free Palestine or might be associating with, say, the pro-Palestine, the thing that got turned into a terrorist group recently, Action Palestine, that's it. That's been registered as a terrorist group, right? So anyone that associates with it or promotes it or says it's good, right, is by definition associated with terrorists. So just for the sake of legal ramifications, I don't like them, right? So all of those sort of forums that talk about important issues like that got taken down. Gay people and trans people that have their own forums for talking about their own issues were decided that that was mature content that children shouldn't be going to. that teenagers that are confused about themselves shouldn't be going on to. And I got hit because my Stop Drinking subreddit also got hit behind this age verification thing. So now I can either give up my face or my ID to the government, or I can just suck it up and not have any emotional support from people around me. And I don't necessarily mind, because I don't go on the websites, like on the forums, nearly as much as I used to. So to me, it's not a big problem. But I think about all the people that are earlier on in their journey than me. I'm about 15, 16 months into my journey, something like that. I think 14 months, technically. Yeah, I'm 14 months into my journey, right? Other people are only weeks into their journey or days into their journey. They're going through withdrawals. They're suffering. They're staying up late at night with cold sweats, you know, and they deserve to feel seen without having to give their ID up to the government. And now they're being silenced from it. And it just got me thinking, like, if it had happened to me, if this online safety bill had been passed just over a year ago, there's a decent chance I would have relapsed on alcohol. And if I'd relapsed on alcohol, I certainly wouldn't have made this channel. The channel certainly wouldn't have taken off, because I would have probably ended up being drunk in half of them, right? And that would just be shit. I'd say something I regret that would be really bad, and it would just be a nightmare, right? I'd be going through the same old motions again and again and again and again. And that's the butterfly effect, essentially, and a very direct consequence of the butterfly effect as well. Keir Starmer puts forward the online safety bill. Because he's put forward the online safety bill, I relapse on alcohol. Because I relapse on alcohol, I can't pursue my dreams in the way that I was able to, because I quit and because I got sober, right? So I just find it so disgusting that we are going to be robbed of future greats that could have done something with their lives, but instead fell victim to alcohol or to drug abuse. Because it's not just alcoholics that stop drinking subreddits. It's, you know, people that are having problems with taking drugs, opiates, cocaine, even marijuana. There's two subreddits for quitting weed. There's r/leaves and r/petitoles. I don't know how you pronounce it. And I think petitoles is like the softer version of it. Like, yeah, I want to just get to the point where I can just take a bong hit like once a month or something if I go out with my friends. And leaves is like, I'm a fucking addict and I never want to touch it again. So it's up to you, the person in question, which one you kind of want to deal with, and whether, you know, you can kind of dip back and forth between them if you want. That's kind of what I did, right, when I was quitting that stuff. And it's just horrible how, obviously, you know, I don't want children to be seeing pornography, right? That's bad, right? But that's why they market it that way, so that I have to sit there and go, I don't want children to see pornography, but, right, it's the but, and then they'll go, oh, you said but, oh, you want kids to see porn, don't you? Because, oh, you have the deep desire to want to stay on your fucking Alcoholics Anonymous subreddit, or you want to talk about the fact that you might have questions about your gender identity or whatever, right? You have so many different things, problems in the world that are mature, right? That people want to talk about anonymously because they're sensitive, and they're labeled as mature because they're sensitive, right? People that are going through like issues with their gender identity could be living with people that won't accept them for their true gender identity, that won't accept them for that, and could really react badly. So who are they going to talk to now? Because they certainly don't have these forums anymore. Who are they going to talk to? Are they all going to get therapy? Well, the NHS certainly isn't fucking equipped to deal with that. So I guess only the people that have gender dysphoria, that have the money to go private, can now deal with it in any way. And the rest of them can all just fuck off, essentially, is the attitude that's being had here. So what we got here? Got queerphobic, we got classist, we got probably racist, because there's probably some, like, you know, I've been a victim of racism and it's been really bad sort of forums out there that have probably been quarantined by this. There's all sorts of different things that have, you know, been put under the hammer, and it is pure censorship. And I would disagree with it just on the level of censorship alone. But the amount of people that have been like directly negatively impacted, not just around the world, around the country in general, but in my actual life. You know, me, a few good friends of mine that are having, you know, various mature issues, right, with themselves, and I think, what are they going to do, right? Just the same way that if this bill had passed a year ago, I might have relapsed. I think people will kill themselves because of the consequences of this. People that, you know, had no outlet to talk to someone. are going to go deeper and deeper down their own mental spiral to the point where they just can't take it anymore. And so I guess those deaths are on Keir Starmer's heads, but I suppose he doesn't really give a shit, does he? Because, you know, the amount of probably deaths he's got on his head from like all the kids fucking dying in Palestine, from the weapons that he's supplying to Israel. Like, there's so many fucking things that he's causing the deaths of, and so much suffering that he's actively, you know, contributing to or actively causing. And it's just so frustrating, man. It's not like the Conservatives are any better. The Conservatives were the ones that originally brought up the idea of this online safety bill. In fact, David Cameron's government in 2013 first brought up the idea of a pornography ban. And it would have been the exact same thing, using the idea that we don't want children to see pornography as a way of silencing dissent politically and silencing trains of thought that the government considers immoral or not worthwhile, or, you know, that should be silenced in general, like queer people, or like, you know, people that have been a victim of something or other, right? Because, you know, people like to complain about people that play the victim, right? But I don't see what's wrong with someone who is a victim going to a space where victims are there to be listened to and where victims can help one another. There shouldn't be a problem with that whatsoever. And yet, apparently there is. Apparently that's mature, and children shouldn't be seen privy to it, because, you know, children couldn't possibly handle an online forum for that kind of thing. It's not like children don't drink underage, right? It's legal for a child to drink cider with a meal at 16. It's legal for a child to drink at home from the age of like 6. So it's perfectly legal for a child to be an alcoholic. And even if it wasn't legal, so fucking what? People will do things that are illegal, right? Does that mean that they should never, ever, ever get any help whatsoever? I don't have any kind of happy twist to put on this, any kind of positivity at the end. All I say is, you know, we're all in it together, no matter what's wrong with us. If we've been affected by this online safety bill, we're all in it together. Whether you're an alcoholic that's trying to quit, whether you're a weed smoker that's trying to quit, or a cigarette smoker that's trying to quit, whether you've got a problem with opiates or cocaine or whatever and you're trying to quit that, whether you've been a victim of transphobia or queerphobia or any of these types of things, whether you've got a problem with gambling, whether you've been raped and you need to find someone to talk to about that, right? We're all in it together, because now our ability to seek outside sort of support has been quenched. Not quenched, it's been kicked under the fucking boot, which is the very opposite of quenched. I've been thirsted. I've been put in the desert to die. Unless, of course, you hand over your information to the government, which, you know, if you're talking about Palestine shit, who knows if the Palestine advocacy group that you're supporting at the moment won't soon be deemed a terrorist group. You can go past it. I'm wrapping it up anyway. So it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You can go past. Yeah, no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about this. I'd like to get a discussion going about so-called mature topics. It's just ridiculous, man. It really is. Mature. No one under the age of 18 can ever watch this again. Fuck off.